welcome to the next video in the XKR repair series. This week we're trying on the wings, playing around with fog lights, and then starting some of the bodywork. Filler, sanding, filler, sanding, filler, sanding, that kind of stuff. I haven't filmed all of that filling and sanding because there's hundreds of videos on YouTube that can show you that. Probably far better than I can. Doing the best I can. Hopefully it turns out okay. Hope you enjoy this week's video. I'm going to be putting the bumper back on. Obviously we've done a lot of repairs here, and so I want to check, just briefly put the bumper on the bottom here so I can see what it's like, whether there's any repairs needed here. Pretty sure there will be some. The other thing to do while I'm doing this is putting the bumper back on. It has got a stainless grille. It is an XKR, but I'm not sure whether this is a factory fitment because we've got some tie wraps holding it on, or not in this case. So going to repair that. So one of the things I was looking at was the fog lights. As you can see there, they're sort of misted up. Yeah, you can see there. It's a common failure apparently. Well, a common issue I should say. So effectively, if you look here, you pull this, there's two parts, you pull this part out and this part out, and actually that adjuster there actually all comes out as in one piece, so that's all good. And then all you need to do is just wipe in there with a cloth, clean all that up, and a bit nice and shiny. I'll do that and come back to you. It did actually take quite a bit of cleaning, but just a cloth and give it a good rub, and eventually cleans up okay. There are some marks, but some of that's there's some quite a few stone chips on the outside or whatever, but much better. Now to do the next one. Just in case any of you are interested, that's what the fog light actually looks like. You can see it's got what look like halogen bulbs in there. Bit messy at the back. Rubber seal. I'll make sure that it's all sort of movable. See, because that's keeping the moisture out, and that's possibly what was causing the. You can see from the state of the back here, moisture and muck does get near it. So just for interest. Okay, once you've cleaned all in there, you've then got to put all this back in. Make sure it's nice and clean. Make sure it's clean in there. This pivots on these bits here, so they slide in. Right, if you go right out like that, and then you can pivot it in, and then they just work their way past these two clips. There you go. Now you might want to feed it in a little bit because of the rubber. And there you go. So effectively pivots on that point, clips in here and here, and the rubber seal goes all the way around. Right, at this level you can see there is a slight rise just about here in the bonnet, so maybe we could slip in a washer or two underneath just about here on the wing mounting. That's where it was. There were a couple there before, because at the front here it seems to be much better. If anything, a slight drop there, so much better at that point. Now I have temporarily just put the lower bumper on, and this side is pretty good. All lines up quite well. We obviously need to put some filler on here because there's quite a lot of there is some filler there, and so we need to. I knew that was going to happen, but we do need to. Actually, a bit of a bump there, but we do need to smooth out that. We will put some filler on there and get that edge a little bit better. However, we can see that it's not in its final place, which I'm sure will make close this a lot better. However, this side is not as nice. I've looked at the video of it beforehand, and it was it did come out this way a bit, in fact, and I have measured from this very corner here to this point here on both sides, and the wings are the same. So that distance between here and here is exactly the same both sides, even though this part of the wing sticks out further. So where we've got this riv nut here and here, I'm going to slightly elongate the holes in the bumper to see if it gives me a bit more leeway to take this, to push this in to get rid of this gap here. Because like I say, if that point is in the right place, then this is the wrong. And I did notice, I went back and checked the earlier video, and there was a gap here. Not as pronounced as this, I don't think, but there was a gap bigger than the other side. So we'll do that. Having elongated the hole, we can make this fit a whole lot better. It's still loose, I'm just holding it there, but I can now push it in far enough to make it look nice. So I'll show you the elongation. Okay, you can see we've made that hole slightly egg-shaped, and that gives us enough movement on this bolt. Then maybe the riv nut is slightly over. I did mark the holes based on the previous position, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean all this up, and then I'm going to put a thin skim of filler on it, so that I can just get a nice, have a flat surface here and then a slight rounded edge, like it should have. Okay, so I've started on this driver's side rear arch. Basically, I went over the area, took off the majority of the primer, the red oxide primer. I did actually tap a couple of these back and fill in a couple of extra little holes that I saw. Now I've got my new glasses. You can see this little bit down here. You can see did have the welder on there, so I could just fill in a couple of those little holes. So now I'm going to use the fiberglass filler predominantly over this edge, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this is very first pass. This is like a filler with lots of fibers in it. So yeah, I've just mainly kept most of it over the join. Obviously looks terrible at the moment. It's still wet even. So yeah, that's the first pass. This is the stuff I've used. Specifically for going over joints and things. So that's why I started off with that. We do have some ultralight Evercoat here. I did use a bit of that on the front. I'm not too sure that I like that stuff, but certainly didn't want to stick. So maybe I didn't mix it up right. We'll see. I'll have another go, and maybe we'll get some different stuff. Okay, so I've been working on it. This is only just put a bit of primer on it so I can get a bit of an idea. I think I've sort of flattened this out too much. I need a bit more of a, needs to come in a bit more. There needs to be like a dip in here, more of a curve. Certainly something funny going on there. There is a bit of a dip here, so I'm going to improve that. At the front here, pretty happy with this side. Yeah, that's pretty happy with that. This side, possibly because I don't have as much light. Yeah, I've missed a bit around here. This isn't right. So yeah, it's coming on. This is the passenger side. Haven't really done much. I've been concentrating on the others, trying to get something a bit closer. Plus, of course, I want to keep this one so that I get an idea of what the curve should be. There should definitely be it should come out and then go back in, swoop in a bit, and it's a bit straighter on the other side. So yeah, we've got some filler on, but that's about it really. This is very much a put some on, try it, put some on, sand it, put some on, sand it, put some on, sand it. I'm not an expert at this by any means. Probably the last time I did any filling was probably, I don't know, well, it was at least 12 years ago. So yeah, we'll get it in there.